Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host Cody Potter. How y'all doing today? So we're going to do an offense-based podcast. I still haven't gotten my top 100 for the 2027 draft worked out quite yet. So we're just going to talk about this offense real quick, man. So biggest thing for me is, you got everybody knows we got Terry McLaurin. That's our horse. That's our main guy. I expect a big bounce back year from Terry this year. I know he's getting up there in age as far as NFL bases and things like that. But this is a guy that's proven that he can win outside. He can win over the top. He can win at all three levels in the NFL. I think adding Antonio Williams to that group a little bit more from the slot, who has the ability to play outside. Not the fastest guy in the world, but guy that plays pretty damn fast. He just looks. He looks smooth, man, when he runs, and I really like the addition of Antonio Williams. I think we have to temper our expectations. I do think that there is a correlation to, third-round players, producing more in the slot than producing more outside. In the third round, you're typically getting a guy who's going to be able to work underneath, work the underneath things. He's shown production in the screen game. He's shown, a very, very good route nuance as far as, a lot of the slants and the curls, the drags, the underneath things. And then we've seen him win outside too. So, there is going to be an impact as far as that from the game. But I think this is going to be a core-based scheme. It's not going to, a lot of NFL teams do it different ways, man. If you have that Jamar Chase, and you got the 1A, 1B, of course you're going to pay those guys. You're going to ride those guys. This isn't what this team is going to be focusing on this year. I think it's going to be very systematic, man. I think the whole point of this offense was to take a lot of the superhuman abilities off of Jayden Daniels as far as the necessity to play that way on a snap in and snap out basis. It's going to be more of hand the ball off, allow your guys to make the plays, allow them to get the tough yards, whether it be in the running game or hitting quick hitches and things like that. The screen game will still be, effective for this team. It's still going to be used. It's just, I don't think it's going to be the highlight of our offense based off of what Cliff Kingsbury loved to do, passing the ball 70+ % times of the game. I think it's going to be a little bit more balanced. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be 50-50. It's probably going to be somewhere in the 60-40 range. But 10% less is a huge difference. There have been games where Cliff, had a closer to a 50-50, thing. But again, when a lot of those times it was out of necessity, it was due to Terry was hurt or, the run game was just flowing so good against a bad team. But you got to be able to run against the good teams, man. And I think this is going to be the first year where it's truly able to do so because Austin Eckler has been hurt. Them things definitely impacted the run game throughout. Bill was a rookie last year in the 7th round. And again, we're going to have a 6th rounder this year, in Kaytron Allen, but I think Kaytron Allen can definitely come in and produce to his skill set. I think that thumper type of, running back, it definitely translates as far, in this offense. And then, there's definitely another guy that I don't think is getting necessarily the pub. And again, it's a lot of projection and things like that. But Chig Okonkwo, man. Chig Okonkwo is a guy that definitely has a skill set that really, really fits, I think, the dynamic of what this offense wants to be. Coming from Will Levis and coming from, rookie Cam Ward, who was taking 60 sacks a game, definitely due to offensive deficiencies, not having a true number one to take it over the top, to unleash a lot of the holes in a defense. Terry McLaurin can do that, man. So I think the sky's the limit for this guy. He's young, he's athletic, he's fast, he can block. He's not the best blocker in the world, but he does enough of it in line that he can, you can use him in different varieties of ways. And I think Ben Sinnott really needs to take a step forward in that too, is where you line him up in line and then you sneak him kind of out of the backfield and things like that. Like later on in the route, and he's kind of your check down guy. Jayden Daniels will only excel in this offense as far as he is willing to, give you that check down. I think there is a big narrative around this offense as far as, let's just look at the Ben Johnson thing. Let's not talk about full West Coast. We can just talk about, the Ben Johnson scheme. So the quarterbacks that Ben Johnson has had in the last couple seasons is, let's talk about Jared Goff. Let's talk about Caleb Williams. I think Jayden Daniels gives you the best blend of both of those guys, where Jared Goff is not very athletic. Jared Goff is he's a pocket quarterback. He's cerebral. He's going to read the reads. He's going to make the right throw. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way a lot. We've seen him throw interceptions and we've seen him have bad games, but generally the consensus around Jared Goff is he will protect the football. He will make the right reads. you get pressure on him and things like that, he kind of folds. Where Jayden Daniels, he has the legs to kind of get out of those situations. Caleb Williams is almost the exact opposite. He will throw the ball wherever he feels he can get that ball. He has never found a window that is closed for Caleb Williams, and that's why the mistakes can be there sometimes. Sometimes he's a late reader. There's definitely, going through his progressions and things like that, we've definitely seen Caleb Williams. He's had open reads, but he knows that he can buy time with his legs and hit the big play. That has worked some systematically for Caleb Williams. One, because having DJ Moore, Luther Burden, and those guys. There's a lot of talent over there on that offense as far as Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet. There's a variation of talent. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers that can win underneath and win over the top. A wide receiver that can beat you deep. In Romeo. I'm blanking on his name. The Washington wide receiver. I really loved him coming out. I was going to say Romeo Dobbs, and that's not it. Anyway, I'm not going to get lost in the names, but what I'm saying is all 3 of those wide receivers could produce. They don't have DJ Moore this year, but what I do like about Jayden Daniels is he has the leg ability that Caleb Williams has, plus he has plus level legs. More of a runner to run more than so a runner to throw, but we have seen Jayden Daniels move behind the pocket and things like that to throw the ball. I think he gives you a very similar skill set in that regard, but Jayden Daniels protects it a little bit better, and he actually sees the reads a lot quicker than what Caleb Williams does, and that was kind of Caleb Williams' deficiencies coming out of USC. So, again, Ben Johnson has been great for that, but when I look at the skill sets and how they intertwine, he gives you the best of both worlds between Jared Goff and between Caleb Williams, because he's a closer reader to the level of Jared Goff, where he will see the play and he will get rid of the ball on time and in rhythm to the play. And he has the leg capability of, okay, it wasn't there early. He can bail out and he can buy time, and he can either throw the ball or run the ball down the field. So, again, you get the best of both worlds from this player. It's just, Jayden Daniels is still going to have to make he's still going to have to take the leap, man. There's going to be a lot of things, with Jayden Daniels that is going to have to, improve as far as in this offense, because it is going to be something that is a little bit out of his comfort level and things like that. So again, the biggest thing for me is the run game. It is going to be him making the reads and all these things. And I know that Jayden Daniels can do it. It's just about him doing it. And then one player that I do want to highlight, I've definitely talked about the biggest, impact that I think our running game is going to have, having Kaytron Allen here. Bill Jacory-Krosky-Merritt, man, he is going to be the wild card in this offense. Can he excel in the route definitions and keeping his feet and keeping his lanes and everything that he needs to do? Can he improve in protecting the passer in the passing game? When he's not going out wide, when he's not going to be a safety outlet out of the backfield, he's designed to be in there to block. We know that he can run. We know that he can see the hole. One cut and go is Bill Jacory-Krosky-Merritt's like tone to his game. The biggest thing that you saw last year in a little bit more of the man-heavy fronts is you see him cut, you see him cut, you see him cut, you see him cut, you see him really, really trying to hit that home run, where it's like, dude, sometimes you just got to hit that 3 or 4 yards. Get what you can and get down, lean forward, and just hold on and protect that ball. He's got to clean up some of the fumbles. Coming out as a 7th rounder who really didn't play his last year in college, there were definitely some really, really good flash moments, man. We saw the Chargers game. We saw late in Dallas, and Dallas had kind of a beat-up run game. We saw him get the yards that he needed to as a runner that can handle the load. But he's got to be able to do it more consistently. Got to be able to protect the football. I think the sky is the limit for Jacory-Krosky-Merritt as long as he learns how to really, really incorporate the pass blocking department and, out of the backfield as a wide receiver and things like that. This isn't going to be a long episode. I'm breaking down the offense first because we didn't make as many moves on the offensive side of the ball as we did the defensive side of the ball. So I'm really, really going to get into the defensive, variations of this, plus the scheme and the schematical build-up for what this defense is going to look to do. I know we didn't do as much with the cornerbacks and the defensive backfield as we needed, or as a lot of people wanted us to, but I really do think that just getting some of the holes that we did get filled up, guys like Nick Cross, Mikey Samerstill, Trey Amos coming back. I think there's a skill set out wide for them. Do I think they can make another addition in the cornerback room for this year? I really, really do. I think next year there's going to be a preemptive focus on similar positions that we really, really needed to focus on this year. I think it'll be a little bit definitely prioritized differently. I think wide receiver 2, long-term 1 is going to be, the focus point of next offseason. Cornerback 1, depending on where you're drafting in the draft. I mean, if you have a shot at Leonard Moore and like the top 3 wide receivers are going, you're going to take Leonard Moore because Leonard Moore is a hell of a cornerback out of Notre Dame coming out next year. I'm going to get into that on my 2027 look ahead. And then the edge rusher position, depending on how, Joseph plays, this year, in spurts and things like that, because he's not going to be a consistent, down in and down out player on the edge, but he is going to get some rotational snaps. And I do believe that. I think he's got the skill set to earn that type of role in this defense. Long term, I think it's going to take a little bit of time, and we'll get into that on that episode. But a lot of 1 year, players at the edge position in next year's class, Dylan Stewart and Colin Simmons and guys like that from Texas, there's a lot of guys, man. I mean, there's guys throughout. Oregon's, got a few. There's going to be a lot of edge rushers in this next class, especially the premier top end guys. So again, we're going to get into that on the next episode when we go defense. I just wanted to kind of get into the offense today, kind of talk about what it is. I really, really do trust this offensive line to stay healthy. I think Josh Connerly Jr. is going to excel to a Pro Bowl level this year in his second year. He looks really, really good in training. I mean, I follow a lot of things on Twitter and things like that, and you see the workout videos for these guys. You guys see these guys from year 1, year 2 come in a completely different shape. Josh Connerly Jr. looks like he's really, really put on some weight as far as, like muscle, and he looks toned. He kind of had that like young man's body, last year, like a big guy, but just not filled out. This year he looks filled out, and he looks like he's about to take, a real pivotal role as far as moving forward for this offense at the right side of the line. Him and Sam Cosmi should work really, really well together, and we'll see what Allegretti can do as far as the communication from the center position. That's really the only question I have. Chris Paul is coming back. I think he has a chance to really, really solidify the guard spot on that side. But, Brandon Coleman, I want to see him stay healthy this offseason and see what he can be. Laramie Tunsil, I expect a all-pro type season from Laramie Tunsil this year, man. He's the type of guy that you really, really need on the left side. And really, it's all about Jayden Daniels. Let's see what it is. We've seen the superhuman ability. Now can he tone it back and just, play within the system like he did in 2024, it not be on his shoulders like it is in that system from the Cliff Kingsbury system where we're dropping back 70% of the time and you see it, you go. Now it's, dude, you see it, kind of bail, hit the check down, don't take the physical beating on your own body, get rid of the ball and do things like that, man. And that's what the biggest difference in this offense is going to be. It's going to be Jayden Daniels playing the point guard position, dishing the ball out to guys in open space, getting the 3 and 4 yards when they're there, take them and leave them, and then set yourself up to take the deep shot, which we know Jayden Daniels has an elite level skill set for that. So this is, like I said, this is going to be a short episode, man. I'm not going to get too much into it. I'm doing a lot of look ahead for 2027. So right now is kind of that quiet time of the off season. We have rookie camp this week. I will probably get more into that when I get, once we start getting reports from that, once we see what guys are looking like, we'll get some reports out of there too. And I'll kind of go over that over the course of this week. And then I'll probably, bring in the defensive side of the ball to kind of go to the part 2 of this episode. And then, like I said, moving on from next week and things like that, I'll probably get my 2027 look ahead for the college football season. Now that the spring games are kind of starting to wrap up and things, I've watched Oregon, I've watched Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State, Miami. I've watched a ton of these schools in their spring games and things, and I'm seeing a lot of the things that I've had noted from last season for guys that were looking ahead for this college football season for next year's draft. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get that to you guys. So I appreciate everybody checking out the pod. I appreciate all the views, and hope you guys have a blessed week. Stay safe. And from the Blue Chip Podcast, man, just thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. If you leave me a comment and want me to talk about something, a player individually or some individual player or something like that, schematically or systematically, or what you think I project them to do maybe this year or moving forward, I will get that back to you guys on either the episode or I'll leave a comment to you guys. I thank you guys. You can check me out on YouTube on the pod. Thank you guys. Peace.